Broke down again, and I'm about to freaking lose it on this episode of
The Clutch Trucker Channel.
Clutch Trucker filmed before a live and fuzzy studio audience. Yep, that's Rusty, the world famous meatball dog. Hey YouTube, Clutch Trucker here. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Clutch Trucker Channel. Alright, somebody had mentioned before, well, I think a few people mentioned before, if it weren't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. My God. And it continues. Spent all day at Sap Brothers yesterday, getting an oil change done, having them mount the spare that I had left there before back onto a new wheel. Try to chase down that fuel gauge issue by putting in a new fuel sender, which is what they call the device that then sticks in the tank and sends the level to the fuel gauge. They replaced that, and of course that didn't take care of the fuel gauge issue. The ABS issue turned out to be a smashed wire. Going back to that one, I had to point that out to the mechanic. I got the new guy yesterday, and I said, all right, and they said, well, we don't have any of those sensors with that line on it. I'm like, can you just splice the wire? I mean, it's two wires, really. And he did, but he did a bad job, and it didn't take. So I said, I'm done paying you guys. I will go do that myself. So I spliced the line for the ABS, and yeah, that cleared the code, and the light went away. So I had to fix that myself in their parking lot. Thought all was well. That took all day. I went to the store, got everything loaded up, got my shower and everything, got like no sleep. Left early this morning to try to go to my pickup in Glen Rock. And here I am 26 miles north of Wheatland, Wyoming on I-25 at mile marker about 107. And I'm broke down. Truck started sputtering and acting like it's getting no fuel. I pulled to the side, was able to get it started again, got going again, engine died on me again. Managed to get back on the shoulder again, and it won't start. So I immediately started the APU to save the battery, because I need to have the flashers on. State Patrol showed up. She was real nice, helped me put my triangles out even. Yeah, she gave me the number for a shop in Wheatland. She called them first and said, hey, there's this guy, he's broken down, he'll be calling you soon. So I told him what the situation was. I just had the oil changed yesterday, which means they also changed the fuel filter. There's only one fuel filter on this truck. It's the Davco 382. It's one of those spin-off dome ones. And when I talked to the guy at the place in Wheatland, he said, well, there's a good chance they didn't put the gasket on the cap on the top, so it's sucking air. Or, could be a double gasket on the bottom of the filter, because when you pull the old filter off, a lot of times the rubber gasket stays on there. And if you don't reach in and pull that out and then you just stick the new one on, now you got a double gasket and you got issues. So he was saying, I bet you that's probably what it is, and it could be. Now, I idled the truck all last night while I was loading everything up and getting everything put away, which took hours, and got my shower and then left and thought all was well. So we'll see what happens. If it is Sap Brothers' fault, I broke down last time right after I left Sap Brothers. They came back and made it good. But boy, if this is because... I'm a little worried, because when that kid couldn't even splice a couple of wires together correctly that I had to do, I'm no mechanic, and yet I can splice some wire and got rid of the ABS code. So, boy, if this is their fault, yeah, they're going to be paying for whatever this road call is going to cost me. I've got my son Justin on the way up with a gas can, well, not a gas can, fuel can that he put diesel in, because now, of course, the Davco filter has no fuel in it at all. It should be at least about a third of the way up the glass of the window for you to see it, and there was none when I opened the hood. I went ahead and pulled off the fuel line on each side of the filter. I pulled out the check valve out of the filter thing just to see if there was a clog anywhere. No, there's no clog anywhere. So, and I don't have the damn wrench to get the dome off. I used to have one, and I don't know where it is. I looked all over the truck. I don't have it with me. So my son Justin's picking up one of those wrenches. I went ahead and called Floyd's Freightliner, and I'm having him bring a fuel pump in case it's the fuel pump. And while he was there, I realized yesterday, I meant to get a new engine air filter, and I didn't, because it's time to change this one, so he's picking that up too. So if the road call guy shows up and says, oh yeah, it's your fuel pump, at least my son will be on the way with one of those. So maybe one way or another we'll get going again. I've been sitting here on the side of the road 2 hours, 21 minutes at this point. I was going to be like 45 minutes to an hour early for my pickup today because I left Cheyenne at 4 o'clock. And here it is now, 8:41 on Monday the 15th. So the fun continues. Okay, so all we can assume at that point is maybe the fuel pump was bad, because the road call guy called from Wheatland, came up and put a new filter in it. We thought maybe they double gasketed the filter. They did not. Maybe they didn't have the cap on the top on tight enough. Well, that wasn't the problem. Maybe the gasket around the bottom of the fuel filter, little dome, the Davco dome, was sucking air. Didn't seem to be any of those issues. So we went ahead and changed out the fuel pump. So we, primed the pump, the fuel thing again, got it to start a couple of times, but then when you rev up the engine, fuel level drops back down. So there's obviously something else wrong. We changed out the fuel pump. He had to leave and go back and do some stuff and come back. I was on the side of the road on I-25 for over 7 hours. Then we changed out the fuel pump, and that still did not fix the problem. So, got it to start again enough where I could leave it in idle and just kind of go through the gears. Thank God I'm empty, or I wouldn't have been able to make it anywhere. Got up to the next exit, Glendo, exit 111. A little trivia, years ago when we owned our radio station in Douglas, Wyoming, it was licensed to Glendo, Wyoming, where I'm sitting here now. Anyway, so I've obviously got some other major fuel system issue. This is why I always try to get constant maintenance, and this is why I tried to bring it in yesterday to Sapp Brothers and spent over $700 there. I still had to fix the ABS issue myself yesterday because, as I mentioned earlier, he spliced it wrong, so I had to do that right. I checked my fuel tanks. My left fuel tank is damn near empty. My right fuel tank is full. So there's some problem with the crossover line between the tanks, obviously, and maybe that's been causing the sputtering. It's only pulling from the one tank, and that's why when I try to lay into it a little bit, it runs out of fuel, and so the engine dies. So here I sit in Glendale, Wyoming. To get towed back to Cheyenne would be thousands of dollars. I'm not really willing to do that. The road guy who came up, they have a shop in Wheatland. I could get towed there for probably, $1,200, and maybe they might be able to get to it tomorrow. Maybe. So I'm very frustrated. Since I've gone to work with Elliot L on Wheels, all the money I've made, I've spent in maintenance and more. So I've been working for almost 3 months and really not making any money. Needless to say, I'm a little frustrated. Or as they say in England, a little frustrated. I guess they say that in Australia too. I'm kind of over it. I've had 3 major breakdowns now in the last few months, and I can't take it anymore. I'm about to freaking lose it. I spent so much extra time at Sapp Brothers on Sunday. Got to do everything for my daughter's graduation and her commissioning ceremony with ROTC and all that Saturday, so that was great. But then Sunday, spent all day at Sapp Brothers. Spent all Sunday night loading the truck, going to the grocery store, getting everything done. Got no sleep, and drove this morning and only to break down. So I'm on little sleep, and I'm very frustrated. This, you're thinking of becoming an owner-operator, this is freaking reality, guys. Times like this suck. Like I say, basically I've made no money for months now. It's all gone into the truck. And that's why I got everything reloaded, and I was planning to stay out for 6 to 8 weeks. trying to finally make up some money so I can bring it home to the family, and another breakdown. Spent it was almost $1,000 for the road call today, not to mention the $400 I spent for the fuel pump that we may or may not have needed from a Freightliner. Spent over $700 yesterday. Lost my load today that was going to pay $1,800, not even coming close to covering all these just recent expenses. So a little frustrated. So wish I had better news, but that's about it. Everything sucks right now. Do want to mention Junior sent me a more dry dog food at the house that was waiting for me when I got home. Thank you, Junior. At least I'm not having to spend money on dog food. Connie had sent all those bacon strips before. We've still got those. But otherwise, I'm bleeding terribly. As an independent truck driver, it's a very scary situation. Try to center myself. Hopefully, things will get better. I'm just tired of getting kicked in the teeth with an iron boot. And now for something more interesting. When I was driving home on Friday to go to my daughter's graduation and all that, saw a trailer on the other side of the road. Everything was all backed up on that side. Looks like they had probably slammed on their brakes so hard that the cargo mashed through the front wall of the trailer. Check this out. All right, look over there. You can see that trailer. It looks like, yeah, see that whole front end is busted open. Hello. All right, so my son's coming back up tomorrow with a gas can, fuel can, technically, because it's diesel. We're going to try to prime the thing again. I'm going to try to get over to the pumps here. I'm sitting right here at a truck stop in Glendo, barely off the road, where it finally died again. And we're going to see if we fill up the left tank, if that'll get me back to Cheyenne, so at least maybe this can get repaired back where I'm home and not out here in the middle of nowhere. And that's about the best I can say that I can hope for right now. Well, thanks for tuning in for that one. Yeah, sorry, not any good news. I am so over all this. My God. Anyway, thank you, Rusty. Yes, that does help. I love you too. He's just buttering me up for the bacon strips. You know that's what's happening. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe. Please like and comment. Get your comments as soon as I can. Sometimes takes a few days because I'm a broke down truck driver. Clutch Trucker on Instagram. Clutch Trucker on Twitter, where I put Rusty stuff. And as always, sniff that magic YouTube fairy dust. Clutch and Rusty out. What is this? I want this music out of my head! Alright, down here. We always start down here. There it is, and there it goes. Oh, it flipped over your back. Alright, you got it. Loving that bacon strip, baby. If only we as humans could find something that made our lives as complete as Rusty does with the bacon strip. It is the end-all, be-all for Mr. Dog here. I tell you. If we can only find that kind of happiness in our life, right? Right, Rusty? Oh, yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving it, Dad. Thank you. Thank you. All right, here's another one. Oh, yes. Another one, a bonus bacon strip. That is one happy dog. Munch, munch, munch. Loving it, loving it. That should be Bacon Strips theme song about McDonald's. I'm loving it. Right, Rusty? Look up here, buddy. Happy dog look. Rusty! Rusty! Hello? Rusty, up here. Come on. We need the look. Up here. Come on. Give us a longer look. Rusty. Hello? You got it, buddy.